Hey, my name is Edward. Today I am reading Who Would Win? Lobster vs. Crab by J. Pilate, illustrated by Lobster. What if a lobster and a crab bumped into each other? What if they had a fight? Who do you think would win? Which lobster should fight the crab? Spiny lobster from the Caribbean? Sorry, you are spiky but have no claws. Pink spotted prawn? No way, you are a shrimp, not a lobster. Shovel-nosed lobster? Nope, you are strange looking. Go dig up a clam. American lobster? Perfect, 2 claws. Which crab should fight the American lobster? Dungeness crab? No, it is famous in San Francisco and on the West Coast. Its shell is rubbery. Alaskan king crab? No, you have only 6 legs. You are popular in restaurants all over the world. Horseshoe crab? No, you are not a crab. You are not even a crab. You look prehistoric. Fact, crabs have 8 legs and 2 claws. Blue crab? Yes, you are one of the best known crabs in the world. And maybe the best tasting. Meet the lobster. The American lobster's scientific name is Hammerus americanus. It lives off America's northeast and Canada's east coast. Fact, lobsters have a muscular tail. Fact, lobsters are in an animal family called crustaceans. Wild fact, a lobster's teeth are in its stomach. The largest lobster was about 3 feet long and weighed 44 pounds. Meet the blue crab. The blue crab is the most popular crab in the world. Its scientific name is Callinictes sapidus, which means beautiful, savory swimmer. Definition: savory means pleasant or agreeable in taste or smell. By fact, a blue crab can't bite with its mouth. A grinding mill inside its body chews its food. Did you know blue crabs are known as swimming crabs? Did you know a blue crab does not have a tail? The largest blue crab was about 1 foot wide and weighed a little more than 1 pound. Where do lobsters live? American lobsters live from North Carolina's coastline up to Canada's east coast. Lobsters can be found in shallow waters close to shore and also in deep water miles out. Where do crabs live? Blue crabs are most often found from the south shore of Cape Cod in Massachusetts all the way down to the Texas-Mexico border. Chesapeake Bay is one of the most famous places for blue crabs. Fact, Chesapeake Bay is an estuary. An estuary is where the ocean meets the river. Did you know blue crabs love shallow, brackish water? Bonus fact, more than 150 rivers and streams empty into the Chesapeake Bay. Definition, brackish water is part salt and part fresh water. Lobster parts. The lobster's head and thorax are in one piece. It's called a cephalothorax. A lobster has 8 legs, just like a spider and a scorpion. Fact, the lobster feeds itself with its 4 front legs. Tail fact, the American lobster has 5 flaps at the end of its tail. On land, lobsters cannot walk well. The 2 front legs on each side have pincers on them. Lobsters run up to 1 mile per hour. Crab anatomy. The blue crab's body is in one piece. Its shell is called a carapace. Running fact, a blue crab walks and runs sideways. Walking fact, a soldier crab is one of the few crabs that walk forward. Swimming fact, the last pair of legs on a blue crab are just like fins. Blue crabs can swim well and they're also great runners. They can run up to 10 miles per hour. They can run fast on land. Boy, The crusher claw of a male lobster is bigger and wider than a female crusher claw. The flaps under the tail are called swimmerets. Female lobsters' tails are wider than the male lobsters' tails. Boy or girl. Crabs have a flap between their 8 legs that is called an apron or a leaf. The girl's leaf is shaped like the Capitol dome. Girl blue crabs also have red tips on their claws that look like painted fingernails. Term: a she crab is a young female crab. Boy blue crabs have a skinny leaf. Some say it is shaped like the Washington Monument. Lobster claws. The 2 claws of a lobster are different. The crusher claw is dull and the scissor claw is sharp. The crusher claw is slower and stronger and usually wider. The scissor claw is quicker and skinnier. Did you know? Some kids call them a crusher claw and a ripper claw. Other kids call them a smasher claw and a slasher claw. Either claw could be on the right or the left. Crab pincers. Can you call them claws or pincers? Both words are correct. Claw type. Blue crabs are not specialized. Fact: the claws of a blue crab are similar. Each claw is a mirror image of the other claw. Lobster bait. Most lobsters are caught by traps. Traps are baited with fish heads, fish guts, and fish bones. Synonym. Lobster traps are also called lobster pots. Other bait. Lobstermen also set their traps with deer hides, hot dogs, chicken necks, steak bones, and even roadkill. Buoy is a marker that floats on top of the water. Lobstermen can tell the deer by the colors of their buoy. Question: if you were a lobsterman or a lobsterwoman, what color would your buoy be? Catch a crab. Blue crabs are caught by crab pots, trotlines, and by a dip net. Bait fact: crabbers that fish with trotlines usually use chicken necks for bait. Fun fact: kids catch blue crabs by dangling bait on a string and scooping crabs up with a net. Size fact: some crab traps are only the size of a loaf of bread. Crabs love fresh bait. Chicken, fish, steak, or any meat works well. Exoskeleton. Lobsters have an exoskeleton, which is a hard shell on the outside of the body. To grow larger, the lobster has to climb out of the shell and then grow a larger shell. This is called molting. Hard shell. A lobster with a hard shell is a lobster with a hard shell. Fact: the younger a lobster is, the more it molts. Gross fact: after molting, a lobster eats its own old shell. Sad fact: a recently molted lobster whose shell is delicate. Soft shell is a recently molted lobster whose shell is delicate. Molting. Crabs also have an exoskeleton and molt to grow. Did you know? A peeler is a crab about to shed its shell. Definition: a hard shell is a crab that is not molting and has a hard shell. Soft shell is a crab that has just shed its shell. Fact: a crustacean that molts is vulnerable to predators while in a soft state. Egger. A female lobster with eggs is called an egger or cedar. She carries the eggs, which are dark green, under her tail, attached to her body in swimmerets. Did you know? About 50,000 eggs. It is estimated that only 2 grow up to be as large as their mother. The eggs turn light orange and hatch. The mother lobster carries between 3,000 and 75,000 eggs. Tasty fact: one day after hatching, about half of the eggs get eaten by fish and other predators. Sponger. A sponger is a female crab with eggs. The crab below is a female blue crab whose leaf is full of eggs. Scientists think there are up to 2 million eggs in a large blue crab. Lobster eyes. Lobsters can't see well. They have an antenna that senses vibrations in the water. They have a great sense of smell. Keeper. Is a lobster large enough to legally keep? V-notch tail is a female lobster that has been notched by the Department of the Fisheries cannot to be kept. Chicken lobster is a keeper lobster that weighs under 1 pound. Cool is a lobster with only 1 claw. Crab eyes. Crabs don't see well. They have a great sense of smell and their antennas can sense motions. Sook is a major family blue crab. Sook is a major female blue crab. Jimmy is a male blue crab. Weapons. Lobsters have spikes all over their shells. They are armored and ready for battle. Spikes on the nose, spikes on the tail, spikes on the knuckles. Fact. A lobster can curdle its tail and cut your fingers or hands. Defensive fact. Lobsters use their claws to defend themselves against fish and other creatures. Measuring. Question. How do you measure a lobster? Answer. With a lobster dig. Measure from the eye socket to the end of its head is in most states. The head must be 3 1/4 inches long to be a keeper. Armor. A crab has sharp points around its body. Take a good look at a blue crab. Predators can't easily swallow it. Fact. Most blue crabs do not have swimming legs. Question. How do you measure a blue crab? Answer. With a crab gig. Measure a crab from point to point, from side to side. In most states, a crab must be at least 5 inches long to be a keeper. Are you hungry? Someone once said, everything tastes like chicken, but nothing tastes as good as lobster. What's this boiling water for? I think it's for cooking corn. Eat before the fight. Other people say blue crab is the greatest food on earth. It's okay to be in a bad mood some of the time. You're a crab. The lobster wants to be left alone. It climbs into a crevice. The crab wants to be left alone too. It burrows into some mud. Then they both get hungry. The crab walks around looking for food. It stumbles upon the lobster. The crab tries to take a bite. Whoosh, the lobster flaps its tail and gets away. The crab runs after it. Whoosh, another flap of its tail and the lobster gets away. But the lobster is hungry. It walks claws first at the crab. The crab flaps its paddle-shaped legs and swims over to the lobster. The lobster is patient. When the crab gets close, the lobster attacks. The lobster's quicker scissor claw grabs the crab by one of its claws. The lobster's crusher claw swings over and crack! The lobster damages the crab's claw. The lobster grabs a couple of legs. Now the crab can't run away. The lobster and the crab fight back and forth. The crab's claws are not strong enough to hurt the lobster. The lobster moves its crusher claw and bites a chunk out of the crab's face. The crab fills up with water from the hole in its shell. This is fatal. The crab slowly stops moving. The lobster agrees with people. Crabs are delicious. Who has the advantage? Checklist. Lobster, blue crab. Size, lobster. Shell, probably blue crab. So 1-1. Claws, lobster, 2-1. Legs, blue crab, 2-2. Teeth, lobster, 3-2. Speed, crab, 3-3. Tail, lobster, so 4-3. So that's how the fight was. The lobster won in the advantage checklist, and he won in the actual fight against the blue crab. So until next time, bye.